Good morning, Steve Zalunardo here with Remax Treviso North Realty. Just to give you a real quick update on the current market right now, we're at total inventory 32,148 units and 965 sold. So look at the amount of sales in the last 7 days, 965 sales. The 32,000 mark, we mentioned the last, let's say 2 to 3 weeks, this is going to be a stagnant period going into the summer months, and then you're going to have a build-up come September, October. So you'll probably see this thing go to 35,000. So usually September, October, you have a build-up, and then November, sort of like a lull period, and then December usually get a drop-off. This is where I like to sell houses around Christmas time, just based on lack of inventory in the market, and the houses always look the best. They're always dressed up for the holidays, and away we go. But ultimately, the 965 sales, this is what we need to be focused on, even as our team back in Toronto. What we're looking at is not to create. We're not following any other realtors or any other professionals in the industry. Why? Because a lot of these people have been late to the game, late to the punch of what currently is happening in the market. We've always been ahead of the curve. Why? Because we don't follow anybody. We're just looking at trends, and that's why when we list houses for clients, we're looking at trends rather than what's happening in the market, because we want to be 5 to 10 steps ahead of what's currently happening. So regarding all this inventory shift, we've already been calling this for a while. This is why we were successful this year. We had a really good year still in a terrible market. I think, we're already, for commission-wise, we're in a good position as well. And then sales obviously dropped off a bit and come in the last, let's say, one or 2 months. But we have a very consistent year, which is great. And we're going to have a fiery end to the fourth quarter, just based on our knowledge and where we're telling our clients to position their properties. Because if you look, we're at this is my chicken scratch writing, but 965 sales. So how do we get our 15 listings that we're currently carrying and just stick them into that 965 that actually sold? And it's all price related. So the higher we stay in the market, or the longer we stay in the market, the higher the price, the lower the outcome of you selling this property. So there's no need to kind of fight back. The market's in bad shape. It's going to get in worse shape. We're looking at projections in the next 5 years where there's a construction industry that won't even exist anymore. So if anybody thinks that Canada is coming back as a whole as an economy based on the current administration, you got to check it. You got to check a little bit deeper, and you got to be very cautious with that decision making that you're making. You can't just say it's going to come back because it's Canada. You can't look at it like that. You got to look at just trends and what's currently happening. When you have a country that's dying, there's no more economic growth. There's no more investment into the country, foreign investment. There's nothing, and not foreign investment like someone buying a condo. I'm talking about building businesses and employing Canadians. So let's look at it like that. There's zero happening right now. The construction industry is going to be no more. They're predicting by 2029 that 40 to 50,000 construction jobs will never come back and never exist anymore. So be off the plate. So 40 to 50,000 workers will have basically perished. So what are they going to do? Is that hopefully the baby, there's a section of retirees and might take some of that area, but I don't think so, because a lot of those guys still have mortgages and they got to keep going to support families. So, and if they're better than, let's say, journeyman or something of that nature, and they're going to take lower money going forward, then they're going to keep their job, and you got to get like young, where it should be journeymen coming in and kind of reproducing the next generation of plumbers, electricians, carpenters, and this whole foundation workers, all these next level of construction. There's going to be a huge gap here. This is why we're kind of translating that all back to selling real estate right now and getting it sold, because if you don't, every day you're on the market, you're losing thousands of dollars. So it's all price sensitive. You got to get to the price. I just sold my land. We firmed up, thank God, yesterday at the airport. The best thing. I have a partner in the deal as well, but you look at it, we took, I think it was 17% under. Let me just look at what I'm going to do some Steve fast math here. Is that what that is? That's a lot more than I thought. Let me see here, 200. I took 35% below what I was asking, so it's not like a big, so 35%. This numbers don't make sense to me, but let's see here. Let me see one more kick at it. Sometimes you gotta do this a few times. Yeah, it's no, it's 25%. So we took 25% below what we're asking. So 25% below what we're asking. And, we had this property in the market for a couple years. It's land, so they're very difficult to sell. We were going to provide seller financing. That means someone can buy the property. We're going to give them the money so they don't have to get a mortgage, and then they can close the property. They pay us interest on the on the seller financing, which is great. And plus it's the title's out of our name, it's into their name, and then we got a lien on the property. So if they don't pay, we take, obviously we have their deposit from the initiation of the contract, the interest, and if they default, we take the land bank back rather. So which is kind of, you know, there's a lot of advantages to that. So we were offering that as well. And then at the end, we had an offer come in, and the one was low, one was, you know, the one we took was a little bit higher than the last one. But they were all coming in around between 5 and 10% of where we sold it is now. So, you know, I talked to my partner, and it's time to go, because right now we're going to make, I think, 25% since we've purchased it. And just remember, when I've been selling real estate in the last 10 years, it's been 300 to 800% return on initial capital invested. So 300 to 800,000. This is 25,000. This kind of shows you the times where we're at right now. And I'm 25% above, what I put into this property because we paid it in cash as well. I'm fine with that. I'm going to take my initial capital out. I'm going to take my 25% return on the money invested in the last, let's say, 5 years. And where's that money going? It's going to get on a plane, and it's going to land here in Florida. And what we're going to do with that money is we're going to buy some more land right now, and we're going to start building, because we see the market in Florida is very robust. It got voted in as the #1 economy in America for the 3rd year straight. Like, this is why I don't see the transition. Again, remember, money always has to be working for you. You can't have any emotions. You can't look at who's running the countries in both sides of the border, because I obviously have differences with the Canadian leadership. For the last 10 years, if you kind of see the current condition of the country. And ultimately, it is what it is. Your money has to be working for you. You can't look at emotion. So if you can walk your money 2,000 miles or whatever, 2,000 miles south of you, and it's working, and it's generating income, and it's creating appreciation, and it's in a safe place based on the Landlord-Tenant Board Acts, and it's not in a flood zone, so it's safe, and insurance is low, and you're making bank, and you got a future, why wouldn't you just walk that money 2,000 miles, no emotion, forget about the emotion, think about your money like it's your child that needs a better environment for them to live. So just move it over, let it start generating cash for you. And that's what we unloaded a ton of properties. I think we did like 7-8 deals in the last 4 days. It was a crazy event. It was we basically made our whole year, and then the size of the deals too. One of them was quite large, especially in the state of Florida. So we basically made our year where it was kind of like a gap period because of the rates and obviously uncertainty with the tariffs and all this stuff for America, if this country is going to pull forward. But obviously no inflation, huge income. This is the first month that they've reported no deficit. There are actually 74 billion positive. So imagine you ran the whole country, you got $74 billion rather than a deficit. Okay, so just look at that. That's where you got to look at. The country's in a hole. That's why you move your money over and it starts working for you. But that's just a little bit of what we're doing, and that's it. So if you have any questions regarding the real estate in Toronto, and you want to understand how to get these properties sold, give us a call. We'd be happy to help you, me and Mike, and then we'll go forward from there. Have an amazing day. Bye-bye.